Hello friends, welcome to Let's Go. So today we will study about scope of a variable. Scope of a variable is the lifetime or lifespan of a variable. So in C language, the variables are always statically scoped. Okay. Now what do we mean by saying that it is statically scoped? Now it means that binding of a variable can only be determined by the program text, that is by our code, okay, and is independent of the runtime function call stack. Okay, so let us try to understand this by taking an example. Now let us look at this piece of code. We are printing the value returned by this function g. Okay, and in G a variable name x is defined and the value given to it is 1. Okay, now we'll see that x has been defined globally as well and the value given to it is 0. Okay, now this call to function f has been made in G as well. Okay, and f is returning the value of x. So if you are not very much clear with the scoping of any variable in C, you must be thinking that the value returned by this function x will be 1, but this is not the case. The output of this program will be 0. Okay, let us see the output. This, look at this, the output is 0. Okay, now this means the value written by the function f is not dependent on this function g. Okay, it's not dependent on the function who is calling it. Okay, and it always returns the global variable x. Okay, so this function is not making any changes to the value of x. The scope of this variable x is equal to 1. Okay, is this between these curly braces. Okay, okay, now you see scope rules can be covered under following categories. First is global scope and second is block scope. Now a global variable can be exist anywhere in the program. Okay, so if we initialize a global variable a, okay, if we define a global variable a, it can be used or its value can be used in any function anywhere in the program. Okay, now look at this piece of code. Now a here is a global variable and we can use its value in main, or we can use its value in another C program as well. Okay, when this file1.c is linked with the another file2.c, the function of this file, the first file, can be accessed in the second file. We have to use a keyword, okay, called extern, to use the global variables, okay, of the first file. One thing that is worth noting is the only the global variable of the first file can be accessed in the second file. Okay, all the local variables cannot be accessed. Okay, now an important fact is to restrict the access to current file only. The global variable can be marked as static. Okay, if we mark A as static, its scope will get limited to file1.c only. Okay. Now the second is block scope. Now for those who don't know what block is, a block is a set of statements enclosed within right and left curly braces. Okay. In this program, this is a block. This is one block, this is the second block. Okay. Now a block can be nested also. So in this code, this is one block. Okay. This and this is one block, and this block, the second block, is nested within the outer blocks. Okay. Okay. So a variable declared in a block, okay, is accessible in the block and all its inner block. Okay. Now if a variable is declared inside this block, okay, it will be accessible in this block also. Okay, a variable declared in a block is accessible in the block and all inner block of that block. Okay, but not outside the block. Okay. Now you guys must be wondering that what if the inner block itself has a variable with the same name. Okay. So now if the inner block declares a variable with the same name as the variable declared outside the inner block or in outer block, then the visibility of the outer block variable ends at the point of declaration by the inner block. Okay. Now look at this piece of code. The outer block contains the declaration of x and y. So the following statement, printf x and y, prints the value of x and y as 10 and 20. Okay, now inside this block y is declared again. The value of y is modified. So the outer block y, this y, is not accessible in this block. Okay, now if we increment the value of y here by 1, okay, the value of y will be 41. Okay, and the value of x will be 11, because the value of x will be and the value of x will be changed and incremented by 1 to 11. Okay, now when we come outside this block, this statement printf will access only the outer block variable. Now if we print again the value of x and y, the output of this statement will be 11 and 20. Okay, I think this will be more clear if we run this program in our editor. Now let us look at this code one more time. X and y have been defined here as 10 and initialized as 10 and 20. Okay, so when we are printing the value of both the variables inside this block, the value printed will be 10 and 20. Okay, now inside this block we are modifying the value of y and making it 40. Okay, y is declared again. Okay, so the outer y will not be accessible anymore in this block. Okay, Now the value of x and y have been incremented by 1, and this statement will change the value of x to 11. Okay, the outer block variable x, okay, to 11, and this statement will change the inner block variable y to 11 to I'm sorry 41. Okay, so now if we print both the variables, the answer will be 11 and 41. Okay, now after this line, the scope of uh, this variable y will end. Okay, and now if we print the value of x and y, the value will be 11 and 20. Okay, so let us run this code. So here you go. First, the value of x and y is 10 and 20, and when we come in this block, the value get incremented by 1. So x is 11, and this value will also get incremented by 1, 41. And when we print after this block, it will be 11 and 20. I think this is pretty clear to you. Okay, so that's all for today, friends. We will continue this topic in our next tutorial as well. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.